Hey guys, I'm really excited to be sharing with you the walkthrough for question number 21 here. So let's go ahead and take a look. So in this question, it says that there is a biomass pyramid of an ecosystem below. So we've got our biomass pyramid here. As you can see, there are way more producers than any other one of our options here in any other level, right? So we've got a lot of producers. We've got much less primary consumers, less secondary consumers, and even less tertiary consumers. So how this pyramid works, right? We've got our producers, which we know are plants that are producing energy from the sun. And then those are being eaten by primary consumers, which are being eaten by secondary consumers, which are being eaten by tertiary consumers. So let's look at our question here. It says, which statement provides the best explanation for the difference in biomass of organisms found at each trophic level? So we've got a lot more producers here, and that is because they are able to get their energy from the sun. So we get all of our energy in our food web, in our biomass pyramid, is coming from the sun. So 100% of the energy is created here on the producer level. So we've got 100% of the energy, and that's why we have so many producers down here. Well, as those producers are being eaten by primary consumers, we lose energy, and that's through methods like heat and other forms of energy losing methods. Okay, and so we, at this point, when those primary consumers eat the producers, we have about 10% of the energy that we had before. So we lose about 90% of that energy at each trophic level. So starting with producers, we have 100, and then we go to primary consumers. When they eat the producers, they only get 10% of that energy. We lose another 10% as we go up to secondary consumers. So we get 10% of 10%, and so we end up with about 1% there. Okay, so secondary consumers only have 1% of the original amount of energy. Those secondary consumers are eaten by tertiary consumers, so they only end up with 10% of 1%, so they only end up with about 0.01% of the energy. So they've got even less energy than the other levels here. Okay, so let's go back to our statement that we can see. So it says, which one provides the best explanation for the difference in biomass of organisms found at each trophic level? Well, let's look at our options here. So it says, we'll go in reverse order. We'll start at D. Organisms at lower trophic levels outcompete organisms at higher trophic levels. So each trophic level represents a predator-prey relationship. So predator and prey don't usually compete with each other, right? So they're not going to be competing with each other. Grass doesn't compete with squirrels, right? So we don't have that competition relationship. We have a predator-prey relationship. So that one we can eliminate. So look at C. Organisms at lower trophic levels provide less energy than organisms at higher trophic levels. So as we saw up here, individuals at the lower trophic levels have 100% of the energy, right? And then as it goes up, we lose energy. So this is the opposite of what we're looking for here, right? So that's not going to be an answer choice. Let's look at B. Organisms at higher trophic levels require smaller habitats than organisms at lower trophic levels. So tertiary consumers are things like our top predators in a food web. So they are the big predators like killer whales, hawks, things like that. And a lot of times those big predators will require much more space so that they can find their prey, right? Their secondary consumers or primary consumers. So this one is actually not going to be true either. All right, and then so that leaves us with A. Organisms at higher trophic levels have less energy available to them than organisms at lower trophic levels. So as we go up these trophic levels, it looks like yes, that is true, right? We start with 100%, go down to 10%, go down to 1%, go down to 0.01% as we go up that trophic level to those higher trophic levels. So it looks like A is going to be our answer here based on what we just talked about. So I hope that helps. You guys have a great rest of your day.